Big up people. Big up to United Real Therapy. Big up people. Big up massive. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. Wait for people to get in here. The channel is shadow banned, so the least you could do, people, is to get involved. The least you can do is get involved in the channel and help and support in whatever way you can. Manchester United are what Manchester United are. Manchester United at the moment, in terms of results, we're getting the results. We're playing football in terms of at least the front forward, and Rasmus is on fire, as we say in this moment. But there's a lot of news breaking in the last couple of minutes. Big up Khalees from Medina Chiveri United Real Therapy. And we're getting a lot of news breaking about what's going on with the appointment, the imminent appointment of Dan Ashworth. So we're going to be looking at Manchester United, and the topics today are quite meaty. We're going to be looking at how we should judge the new structure and the patience and the time that we should give for the new structure to basically clean house, because that's what's needed at Manchester United. So big up to all of you. I hope you all having a wonderful Monday. It's not just the blues. I hope all of you are looking forward to the spring, especially those of you in the UK, understanding that the weather hopefully is going to change now. It's going to get a bit brighter and everything's going to be all right. But big up to everybody. Love and light. Big up Saeed. Saeed, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Just like I said, got a toothache, but other than that, you know what I mean, can't complain.
I'm telling you, if you ever had a toothache, in it, you know and understand that pain is next level pain. And you need to take care of that, man. You need to have some of that serious, strong painkillers about to be able to help you. Even then, they can't really help, really. So trust me.
No, they can't.
We've been there, bro.
They can't really help as well.
We've been there. You just need to ease up on the chocolate, man. Ease up on the sweets, man. The tempeh, you know what it is, and all that business.
Because I've got fillers. I got fillers in there, yeah. And then I think one of them, the chip must have come off while I was brushing my teeth. So I don't know if it's some of the fillers have gone, but yeah, man, it's just it's painful, man. Painful, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Big up. I'll send Jarvis the link in it if he wants to jump on. He can jump on.
Yeah, big up Jarvis, man. Big up to you, man.
Jarvis, yeah. But Saeed, the topic of the show today is like, how should we judge?
What we're talking about.
We're talking about how we should judge the new football structure at Manchester United. You know what I mean?
Talk to me.
That's to me, that's what it would be. But here we go. The breaking news, obviously, the appointment of Dash is in line with the plans of CEO Omar Barada. That's what's being said. And then obviously we're going to go into Kobbie Mainoo. I am adamant that I don't want him anywhere near the England circus, and I think that he needs to go and have a holiday. I think, well, we'll come on to that. That's the second topic, but the first topic is about the Manchester United new football structure, which, by the way, it is nothing amazing. I know that's how that's how it's been. That's how it's been put about.
It's been fantasized now, man.
You know what I mean? Listen, that is what majority of big football teams in the world have. They've got a football structure. I know we've not, but it seems like wow, man, and the PR is being overdrive. You know what I mean? Jim the Rat Judas, man, and his boys in the media are literally United are doing this, United are doing that. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm about Manchester United competing for the biggest trophies again. For me, it's simple. When the Glazers, I don't trust the Glazers. I don't want the Glazers to be anywhere. But if they then go and prove and put, I've been shouting for that. So why would I be against that? I would not be against that. I was the one that's been screaming all these years, telling you about the bankers, telling you about what's behind the scenes what behind the scenes is so important to what you see on the weekend or midweek. Facts. Those have to be synced in like that. There's got to be some synergy between what's behind the scenes and the structure and what you see on the football pitch. And I've been, with me and Saeed and everybody else got into heated conversations to say, no, it's the manager and the players. And I understand that as well. And I can see that point of view. But for me, a good football structure, it doesn't mean that you win trophies, but it gives you a chance to compete at least.
It narrows the gap, man. That's what he does, Lord. It narrows the gap. You know, for us, we've not been making football decisions, and ultimately, Dan Ashworth will come in and be like, "Yo, we don't need to do this. We need to do this." Myrtle would have been like, "Yo, we need to do that." But that might make sense. Or, you know, we don't have jobs for the boys anymore. we don't have certain things that that financially makes sense, but then footballing wise, they don't make sense at all, man. So that in that aspect, is something that we need to stop doing. We're just spending money for the sake of it. Like we need to stop doing that. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple, but we need to stop spending money for the sake of it. Like we need to spend money wisely and properly, And if we can do that, bro, man, we'll end up like judging players differently. Like every time when we judge players now, bro, we bought him for this money and this wages and this, that, and this. Like, yo, all of us can be like, yo, cool. 30 million, okay, not bad. What I mean? It's not as if it's like a car crash or anything. You lose 30 million on a player, you're like, cool. It wasn't too bad. We spent this money on that money. You know what I mean? But if you're spending 80 million on Anthony when it shouldn't be that money, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, facts. Big up Khalifa Medilas Chiveda, United Real Therapy. And here it says here, look, Man UFC structure has been criticized over the years for its bureaucracy, which some sources say often hampered the speed, quality decision making. Radcliffe wants to create much clearer lines of communication and decision making. Well, who's been telling you that? Who's been telling you Manchester United don't have a clue? Me and Saeed know our brother, Abdigela, know Abdigela, he's a football agent. He's been a football agent for a long time. Yeah. And I would ask him, he's a United fan, so I would ask him, listen, what, in the agency world, when they have their meetings and like their dinners, their big meetings and stuff like that, I always like, what did they say about Manchester United? It's like, everybody knows Manchester United, you get paid. You don't have to do much to get paid. I mean, one of the classic examples, Saeed, is Woodward going to Shakhtar Donetsk and basically saying, Fred was worth 25 million. And he went, oh, yeah, we'll offer you. Well, the agent was like, yeah, but we think he's worth a lot more. Will 50 be all right? Getting him for 55 million? It's an absolute joke. Absolute joke. But please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed. The channel's been shadow banned because we stand for the Palestinian right. And to me, so the least you can do, especially if you're somebody who cares about what's happening in Gaza and in Palestine, what you need to do is support channels like this, because we shout from the top of the mountain, man, any day, every day, in every stream, we say, you know what, F-Zionism, love and light to the Palestinians and liberation to the Palestinians.
Absolutely.
So please smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. For me, the biggest thing in terms of this football structure that's coming in, how are we going to judge it? Saeed, I've made it plain and clear. I've said it in the other stream. I've said it yesterday as well on a match reaction. But listen, first of all, I'll ask you the question. What did you think of the game yesterday?
Boy, frustrating watch. Should have scored by a couple of goals more. Garnacho should have scored. Bruno should have scored. Hoyland should have scored, really, let's be honest. So yeah, man, we had chances to win the game, bro, by a couple more. But I ultimately look at the way we're playing football. It isn't still at the required standard of what Man United should be doing in the second season. It's still chaotic. It's still kind of like, it's just it's a bit too much, man. I mean, that's my own opinion. Is like, I feel like it's just so. It's like a basketball game, and that for me cannot keep happening and whatnot. So yeah, man, I thought the game management wasn't good. Second half was a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, but ultimately, we're still surviving in games. We're still just about getting over the line. And I think even Rasmus Højlund in his interview, he said we were lucky. And if he's saying that, that tells you everything you need to know. So but then he goes, you know what? We got the 3 points, and that's what it should be. But at the same time, I always think for me, like, let's just get a bit more confident. After 2-0 already, did you think that game would be the way it was after 2-0 in the first 7 minutes? I thought, bloody hell, we're having it here. We might get a couple of goals here today. We might actually go.
I thought the third. I thought it was only time before the third goal comes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, bro. So ultimately, man, it's a difficult one to kind of take, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Very, very difficult to take. But at the same time, results-based business is what people are saying. So let's see if we can get these results then, innit? You know what I mean? If you don't want to get performances, it's gonna be results-based business. So right now to the end of the season, keep winning, keep performing, and we go from there, man. That's what I'd say from me right now.
Yo, that's mad breaking news. Big up Khalifa Medinlati, yeah. Napoli sacked their manager, Walter Massari. That's crazy.
They sacked 2 managers now. They sacked the manager that used to be Al Nassr's manager, forgot his name, and now they sacked this guy here.
So two managers in one season.
In one season.
By the way, also
last season. They won the title last season with Spalletti. So
that's crazy. That's crazy. Sacking something must have happened. Yeah, something must have happened. Something must have happened. And also, like, what's his name? Got sacked by Marseille, isn't it? It's mad. Like, it's not that long to the season to go, but he's been sacked by Marseille. What's his name? Gattuso. Gattuso's been sacked by Marseille.
Yeah. Gattuso's been sacked. They've also sacked 2 managers as well this season. So, bro, Marseille, man, bro, back in the day, Marseille, man, what a team they used to be, man.
What a team.
You know what I mean? That early 2000s, the late 90s, the early 90s. Marseille, man.
Yeah. They sacked Rudy Garcia and Walter Massari.
That was it, yeah. Big up Ariane.
Yeah, big up Ariane. Awful performance, both halves. We were bad. Luton playing hard most of the game. Listen, at the end of the day, I thought the second half we drastically improved, because that half an hour, 35 minutes in the first half, they absolutely roasted us.
Yeah.
I mean, the Arsenal rejects, and my guy from Everton were roasting us. You know what I mean? Those two players, they literally, you know what I mean?
Sam Miller-Conga, man, I couldn't believe it.
Honestly, I was like, who's this guy? I was like, is Lokonga doing this to us? Lokonga was everywhere.
Yo, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I feel like it's one of them where Sam Miller-Conga at the minute, you know what I mean? He put in a performance, bro. Like, defensively, just in general, like
carrying the ball,
quality performance on the ball as well. Listen, good man. I can't lie to you. Sometimes when you go to a big club like Arsenal, the expectations are very, very high. You know, so when you come to a club like Man United, Luton Town, you might find your feet there. So fair play to the guy, man. It's still I think he's still young anyway. I think he's what 24.
Yeah, he's not going to stay there. So I'll tell you now, he's not going to stay there that long. There you
go.
He's not going to stay there that long. I'm telling you now, if they go down, mid-table teams like the Villas, the Wolves, the West Hams are going to have to sniff around him. I'm telling you, on the performance yesterday, I'm like, wow, what a player this guy is. The energy levels, the energy levels that the guy had. And obviously his midfield partner as well. Both of them complemented each other perfectly. And I thought they bullied us in midfield, really. Yeah,
facts, 100%. But you know what? Ultimately, though, our midfield just lacks any discipline, Lord, man, and that's the key thing for me, man. Any midfield right now. Remember Newport, man. Remember Newport getting the ball and bopping around, and that's Newport, Nuruddin. I mean, we just about got over the line with Newport. Like, so I'm trying to say, like, that lack of control is what I think for me is stopping us from actually achieving a lot. You know what I mean? And that comes for finals as well. When you go to finals, Nuruddin, you can go and say, you know what, cool, we'll play the counter-attacking style. But I remember the Brighton game was very, very difficult to watch. Newcastle game, we defended as well, for the second half. Like, Man City game, there was nothing obviously there. But, when you look at them finals, Nuruddin, as much as we beat, Brighton on penalties and whatnot, and we beat Newcastle, there was a lot of times where we defended in our half, man. And, credit to the defense. That was our kind of key thing last season. But it's still like that lack of control is something that I feel like for me, we still haven't got round to, man.
Yeah. Big up Bilal for the super chat, man. Really appreciate you, King. Big up to you. It's a salam, bro. He goes, it's an Arsenal fan, isn't it?
Big up Bilal, man.
Yeah. He's saying that correctly with inevitably leads to fighting for major trophies. I believe Manchester United would do the same. We'll fight with Arsenal in 2 or 3. Oh yeah, you know what? I'll bring that back. Bring that rivalry back. Seriously, bring it. Rewind, man. Bring it back. Big up for you, bro. I think what Arsenal are doing, is super impressive. Like I said, that winter break for your boys to go to Dubai did your boys massively bonded together. I think you lost 3 games.
We won't get that.
Yeah. You went to Dubai on a warm weather training for 2 weeks, and you absolutely shut it down. You flew back to London, smacked up Palace, and never looked back ever since. You know what I mean? You're not looking back ever since. So for me, I think that your season would be what you do at Old Trafford, what you do to City away.
Yep.
Those are the games, and I think it's another big game. So have they got another derby with Tottenham? Have they played Tottenham twice?
Tottenham, yeah, you got Tottenham in April, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. So So it's those 3 games. Like obviously the derby is a North London derby coming to. You struggle at Old Trafford. You know what I mean? Regardless how well you're playing, you always struggle to get the result. And the result you get, but I personally believe you are on fire at this moment in time. Like nobody wants to play you guys. Saeed, can you tweet out the show, please, for me, bro?
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Listen, at the end of the day, it's simple, people. Manchester United, for me, second half a lot better. We absolutely should have been out of sight. It should have been comfortable watch. Other than us all sweating and biting, man. I bit my nails, man. My nails are gone. The only thing the form for Manchester United this season is that my nails are all gone, mate. I'm like that.
Oh, your nails are all gone. But just, you know what it is? Even when I do the watch-alongs, man, like we're just like we're constantly like, you know, thinking like, yo, when's this game ending, man? Like end the game.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
Listen, people keep an eye on Saeed TV. When it's all start a new studio in the gaff, I'm coming, mate. I'm coming to do watch-alongs.
You're there for the watch-alongs.
I'm there.
Yeah.
So you think Saeed losing his mind? You don't kill me. Saeed, you might have to have that beat machine, you know, beep. Because trust me, I get frustrated, but I get frustrated.
Man. Remember we did it for Liverpool game though. But that time Liverpool game, you just accepted it though. I remember that time, Ralph Rangnick. You almost accepted where we were.
I accepted it because
you know what I'm saying?
The players didn't want to play for him. They didn't want to play for him. Yeah. Bro, the
that
players
was pathetic,
weren't playing
by the way.
him.
That derby. That game was pathetic, man.
Yeah,
pathetic, man.
Actually, one thing apparently is through the rumor mill that Dodgy Dave has had a conversation with Ralph to do this review. So I'm like, you know, that's good. You know, at least Dodgy Dave is doing that, talking to Ralph as well, because Ralph was the only guy that really told the truth.
Would Ten Hag want that? Because remember, Ten Hag was a bit unsure about Ralph Rangnick.
I've done a video with a timeline. Actually, I did a video with a timeline. To be fair to you, the guy who gave you the job, which is Murta, sacked Rangnick in March. Remember? March.
Yeah.
And Ten Hag didn't come till May. Remember? So
that's fair.
He was sacked already. Rangnick was sacked already. I did a show on this channel where I broke down the timeline. Remember when Mark Ogden of ESPN and that were all coming out saying he's not staying, he's not, and I'm like, is this something they know? And it made sense. It made sense what Ten Hag said in the first press conference. He said, well, that's the club. He said, speak to the club about Rangnick. He said, speak to the club. Speak to the club about Rangnick. But apparently that's what the rumors have heard. But it could be the part of the PR spin of Ineos, you know what I mean? So I don't know what to believe. But if they really want to do a proper review, they need to speak to Ollie. They need to speak to him. They need to speak to everybody who's there. That's what they need to do. Speak to everybody. That's what they need to do. Speak to everybody. But big up to everybody, people. But let's get into the meat of the show tonight, Saeed. Dan Ashworth is Manchester United will have to pay. We just discussed that. People go and check out 269, is it? 269, 270. Straight Jacket podcast. Go and check it out, people, on Saeed TV, and make sure you follow him if you're not following him. We talked about it, and then we broke it down that Manchester United have to do the compensation because now he's on gardening leave. And I believe he's already put Manchester United on a better hand in terms of negotiations because he's quit. Like Omar Barada quit. Yeah. Omar Barada quit. That meant Manchester United had an upper hand in terms of sorting out a compensation package. Yep. So that's what will be. If it's 10 million, so what? At the end of the day, this is the guy that you thinking can sort out things at Manchester United. So go and get him so that he can start going and planning for the summer right now. Other than that, for me, Saeed, and I say it to all of you guys, as United fans, it's normal. It might be new to us, but it's normal. If you're a successful football club, the directors of football and coaches, head of recruitment, they get sacked. They get sacked. They're not performing. They're not doing great. They get sacked. The merry-go-round of directors of football and like sporting directors and backroom, all of that happens in football. I know we're not used to it at Manchester United. I know it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? At Manchester United, we're like, whoa, what's going on here, man? It's like a new thing. It's like our eyes are opened, you know what I mean? So it happens. But the biggest thing for me and Saeed, with our friend who's an agent, we could sign players. We're not judging the new Manchester United football structure. We're not judging them on signing players. Any person with a right phone number of an agent can sign footballers. What we're judging them, and how you as United fans will be judging them, is to judge them in how much you clear out the dead wood, the players that have been there for years and years and years and are sticking the place out. So
and
that's what it is.
When did they leave as well? When did they leave as well? That's what you know what I mean. Like, not just now, it's when they leave as well. The contracts. Omar Barada came in and spoke about players having to leave after 1 to 2 years. Do they stick with their opinion as well? Do they stick with that kind of notion as well? Because you got to remember, fans are also gonna have this. You know what it is with the fan base as well, We as fan base need to be also understanding that if they don't perform after 2-3 years, they got to go as well. Like us as a fan base, whether we regard them. And we have these fanboys and fan FC, and you know what it's like, Nordin, with our fan base, like fan FC, like Luke Shaw, like the Luke Shaw army is still around after 10 years. You know what I mean? I don't know how, but they're still around. If he stays fit, he's our best left back. Well, the key thing is stays fit, and he can't do that in a minute. So ultimately, the club have to look at, I think, right, availability is your best ability. That's the first thing, right? And you're not doing that. So therefore, but now we're giving a new contract. It's going to be difficult to get him out of the books, because now who's going to want to sign a left back who's injury prone? So
big up Indiana.
Of factors already that go into it.
Big up Indiana, man.
It's been a while, bro.
Yeah, big up First XI, man. Make sure you go and check that out. Indiana, listen, let me know if you're free, bro. I'll send you the link, because I love to chop it up with you. We've not chatted for ages, so I love to know what your opinions or what's going on at Manchester United.
Yeah,
so
big
please
up
let
Indiana,
me know.
Man.
Listen, let me know, bro. If I can send you the link, let me know, bro. Let me know. Big up to Indiana. And the biggest other thing as well, how we should judge Manchester United is judge them when they make mistakes, Saeed. Listen, there is not a study you should go into. Every football club, Saeed, when it comes to recruitment, it's hit and miss, because you don't know how, because players are not robots, they're human beings. You don't know if the ones that you buy from abroad, how much they're going to settle in. You don't know, even when you do everything, where you have a player liaison, where you've got... So basically, some football clubs, like in Italy, for example, Saeed, footballers are owned by the clubs.
In
Italy, just to give a context, in Italy, basically, the club, the results go bad. The club can just go, right, for the next 2 weeks, we're going on training camp. Saeed, in Italy, the players have to take every sort of test. All these tests, dehydration, the way, the types of food, allergies you have. Remember, we saw Lukaku, Inter Milan. Inter Milan found out he had all these allergies. They do all these tests like on you. So Italy, the way you are, do you think you can be accepted for you to be raving at a club and all of that business? Like, they check the urine. Even that, I mean, some of those things have been brought to the Premier League and maybe La Liga as well. It's the intensity where footballers can't mess about. They can't mess about unless you're winning. If you're winning, you've been seen in the club. It's not all, you know what I mean? It's not the end of it. If you're not winning and you get spotted at a club, going on drinking binges, see you later, right? See you later. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'll put it on here, bro.
It's simple.
There it is, bro. Jump on. But the biggest thing for me is this, right? The way I see it is that
and so you're basically saying that you want accountability. You don't want fans to fall for the hype. You don't want fans to kind of get indoctrinated, like, oh, we've got new structure now and everything's going to change swiftly. Like that is true as well. You know, you got to make sure that fans have a belief that things will take time, but also, there has to be accountability as well in that aspect.
No, 100%.
That's what you're trying to say.
But the biggest thing is the point that I wanted to make in a long, drawn-out way with my ADHD brain is that when you get it wrong, when you sign a player, you get it wrong. How much do you let that foster, and how much you try to correct that? For example, I give a clear example: Anthony De Santos, right? If Manchester United had a football structure, Ten Hag, it was a panic at the time. They went with him. If Dan Ashworth or, you know what I mean, Jason Wilcox or whatever. Anybody who's coming in at Manchester United football structure, the head of recruitment, all get in a plan with the manager and go, okay, you want that guy. We'll give you that guy. Then the guy fails. It's how quickly do you remedy that? Get him out of the club, bring somebody else. That is how you're going to judge. The best, to me, when I've looked at Europe, right, there's no secret weapon, Saeed. There's no secret to this. Everybody makes mistakes. It's just that you want to minimize the mistakes because you want to build a culture. You want to build the culture and foundations as part of the football structure, as part of the football club, where you're giving the manager, the coaches, the players you buy in, the youth players, everybody, an environment where they can go and thrive. But there is an understanding that if anybody drops below the standards, your days are numbered. This is what you need to bring in, man. This is what Manchester United needed. So for me, I look at Man City, I look at Peristine and the other guy. What did they do? Yeah. They basically, how many times in the first 2-3 years, how many players did he sign? Did Pep Guardiola sign? And all of a sudden, not working. See you later. The guys were gone. They were gone. You know what I mean? Leroy Sané not listening, even though he's a baller for them. Absolute baller for them. Right? What happened?
Out the door.
Done.
Out the door.
At the end of the day, that's what happened. So at the end of the day, I look at it and think, not everybody has the secret that 100% works, but the best operators, the best football structures, they foster an environment and a culture for players to thrive. So in terms of players, when they sign a player, Saeed, they bring football liaison around him. In terms of language, they hire people who are going to teach them the language. They hire people that can sort their kids out, sort their partners out. They get them the right house. They get them settled in as quickly as possible so that they can just focus on the football. That's what the top clubs do. They do all the tests that needs to be done in terms of medically, in terms of physically, in terms of injuries that they might have had. They manage all of the things because of that. They mitigate that. So at the end, when it comes to accountability, it comes to the player. You got no excuse to make then. You got player can't go.
Everything's in place. You're saying everything's in place for you to succeed. And that's what they've done in Man City. I know. Listen, we don't want to talk about Man City, but they've made sure that player liaison. Because I know the player liaison at Man City. I don't know if you know the Asian guy, the player liaison, and the way they kind of like he looks after them and makes sure they're okay. They come in and whatnot. And we've been hearing stories about Man United in terms of needing psychologists and needing this and why is people just going off on, you know what I mean? Like, you know best stories about Man United, right? Big up to Indiana, man. Hope you're well, bro.
Yeah, big up
so
Indiana.
We all hear stories, man. We all hear stories. We all hear things. And that comes down to a lack of accountability, a lack of structure. Nobody knows what's going on. The hierarchy is a bit crazy. Look at the statement. Look at the way they handled the Mason Greenwood situation. That is shocking, man. When you're deep in the way Richard Arnold handled that Mason Greenwood situation, like without integrity, without kind of thinking about people and the victims in general and how serious it can be, and the way he handled that was shocking as well. And that's something that I don't think is good enough.
Yeah. Oh boy, some pressure is going on. Breaking. Bayern Sport director Christopher has also surprised name in mind. However, he is more of an interim solution. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, But you know what it is? Wow. They look at United kind of like.
Has Tuchel been sacked yet?
No, he's not sacked yet. He's not sacked yet.
Wow. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to go in there, do his magic, yeah? To relieve the tension at Bayern Munich, get people scoring, banging in goals right, left and centre. Big up to everybody, man. Big up. Please smash a like. Stephanie Griffin, big up to you. We miss you. Stephanie, the queen of the chat. That's what we call it. Queen of the chat, man. Sort it out, man. Sort it out, Stephanie. Indiana, you're there. When you're there, just let us know when you're ready, bro.
I'm here, man. Sorry.
Man. Big up to you, man. Big up to you.
Indiana. What's going on, man?
How's the coaching, King? Everything good?
It's good, man. Just been really busy. Just like not long bought a house and kids and work. It's just yeah.
Coaching the next generation.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Trying.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of talented kids out there. I just hope they listen. Any kids who are ever listening, just enjoy your football. Forget about this system football. What you're seeing on FIFA. In fact, stop playing FIFA altogether. Go out and kick a football and go and enjoy yourself, man. Before you know it, you're like me and Noureddin with bad knees and you can't be doing it anymore. And just go and do it, man. I'm tired of FIFA merchants trying to do that on the field. Just express yourself, innit, man? That's what we want to see. We're Man United fans. We're like, you know this, Nordin. We're in spaces. We signed Ten Hag. Everyone's telling me we're going to play like Ajax. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Play like Ajax? You've been a Man United fan. What are you talking about? Like that's not it. That's just not it. I want players to express themselves, and I think we're kind of getting that under Ten Hag. But this whole appointment.
I wanted us to play the triangles, keep the ball, and move the ball like Ajax in the Champions League, like we used to.
I understand that.
You know what I mean? With Fergie, we were doing that. That's why we made it 3 finals. You know what I mean? Because we were bullying, bobbing teams off the park.
I understand. I understand that. I've just never been on board with this whole, like Martial as a false 9 type striker. I want a proper striker. I'm not on board with Anthony on the wing. I want a player. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't like any of that, but that's my preference. You know, that's just me growing up watching Manchester United and Premier League football. That's my preference, but we'll see. But when it comes to Dan Ashworth, I think I don't think people can really look so much at what he's done at other clubs. Manchester United is such a jump.
Yeah,
it's a huge jump, and the project is so different. We've spoken many times, Nordin, about actually resolving the issues that have been caused by the football club are going to take more time and more money than anything else. The clear out of players, the backroom staff, the way the agents look at the club and deal with the club. You know, because let's be honest, they just take the piss, don't they? That's the way it is because of the relationships that need to be built between players and agents and other football clubs again. Yeah, and it's a different challenge. But when you look at Newcastle have probably got a 5-year plan. I think Ashworth's been there for like 2.5 seasons. So the reason why they want this compensation and making it tough is because this guy, he's not their transfer guru, by the way. He's in charge of the people who are. So a new guy's going to have to come in with a new project, new ideas, which means changing up a lot of things. That costs him a lot of money, takes a lot of time out. So I understand that, but he seems like a good appointment to me, and I like the way they're moving
pay for it
from the top.
Are you one of them where you like pay the money? Yeah,
we wasted $1 billion.
Oh, geez! If you're going to go and pay 90 million on Kylie Minogue on the right wing, I'm good with it. Spinning around and all that. I've had enough.
Spinning around.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? Kylie Minogue is the worst music. You know, honestly. Out of all that, there's not one tune that I think that's a tune. You know, honestly, not one tune. You know, honestly. Anytime I go to weddings and that, and they put on Kylie Minogue, I agree. I take a rest, you know. I don't know what it is. Like, there's no rhythm, there's no beat to her song. So hold tight, Kylie on the bench. Kylie sitting on the bench, pretty man. It's all good. But listen, to me, Manchester United have wasted billions. At the end of the day, billions. Somebody said to me, Luton in the weekend, I think they cost 25 million. That's the cost, and our cost is about almost the team that we had out there. It's almost nearly 700 or something like that. In terms of the wages we give and everything else, it's crazy. But for me, the biggest thing is...
But how much of that's inflated though, Nordin?
Well, it's because it's Manchester United.
No, not because it's Manchester
but they're
United,
foolish
but the incompetence.
Yeah, that's what we talked about.
I know that, but these comparisons with obviously Man United squad's going to be more expensive, but... If you know, for instance, we know about Anthony. We know the club valued him at £25 million. They still went and paid 85-90. We know that, but how many times have they done this that we don't know about?
Well, Harry Maguire.
It's scary when you think about it,
man. Fred was valued 25 million. We paid 55 million.
25 million. Yeah.
AWB.
Maguire the same. There's so many players that we overcompensate, overpaid, over whatever, and now. That's why someone like Dan Ashworth coming in to serious negotiate, at least someone who can actually, like, when he's in charge of the whole situation, is like, yo, cool. I feel like for me, it's like, yo, just don't disrespect us in it, basically, in it. Don't disrespect us. That's all I want to see from us. Don't disrespect us and don't say, yo, because United tax and all of this and whatever. Come correctly, come like you're serious, and then we can talk and negotiate. Because I watched the Newcastle documentary and they were talking about the Gordon situation, and they were basically saying, and the way he was explaining it to the owners, that one, I like that. You know, I just can't quite imagine John Myrtle and these guys explaining to the owners.
What was he saying? What was he saying about Gordon?
He's just basically saying, like, you know, he's a good talent. He's someone that can fit into the system well, and but then you have to kind of almost like manage what you deemed is like what you deem as value and what you deem is like not valuable. So it's more what he was explaining and how he was going about it rather than anything. And I'm not like, well, we've done situations. I'm like, how have we then got to explain to the owner that it's going to cost us 85 million? I just don't know. How is
Saeed, the owner didn't even give it. Saeed, the owner didn't care. The owner didn't care. The owner was just told, listen, Manchester United fans are going crazy. The owner was told, Manchester United going crazy because we got battered by Brentford and we got beat by, we got beaten by Brighton at home. And the owner, they panicked. Glazers always panic, shoving money at them, other than taking a step back. I said it at the time, Alien, that Casemiro was overpaid, and I still stand by that. Casemiro's grandchildren, they're not even in the world yet. They're still dancing on a Copacabana beach right now. Like, they're not even born yet, but they're dancing because he was never going to get a 5-year contract for that amount of money. But do I think I'm glad that he was there? Because at least last season, he gave us some stability. When he's back in the team, he gives us some stability. But absolutely. Should that amount of money and that length of contract, nobody in world football was giving it. The only people who would have given him, to be fair, at that time, because they weren't there at the time, is Saudi Arabia. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what we have. And for me, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know if you think I'm wrong, Indiana, but I'll come with the question. I'm not judging Manchester United new structure on signing players. Like I said, me, you, Saeed, can go on. All we have to do is get agent numbers to sign players, right? That's all we have to do. It's to go and watch, study players, go and watch them, and that's what we have to do. I know there's a lot more go into it, but signing players is a lot easier than getting rid of players. And Manchester United in the past decade have been guilty of not being able to move players on. The 3 players that I can remember that we moved on, actually 4. And in a decade, when you got 4 players that you moved on, to me, that sounds crazy. When you look at some of our Chelsea and Man City, they've been the best to get rid of players, to get money in for their players. So Dan James is one of the first ones that we made money on. Lukaku, we almost got even. We made it even. Di Maria, because he wanted to get out of here. And the other player was Danny Blind, if I'm not mistaken. We bought him for cheap and sold him for a bit more, like 3 or 4 more million. And actually, 5. The other player that we bought him for 12 million and we let him go for 18 million was Chris Smalling. So 5 players in a decade, Indiana. It's shambolic.
You know,
it is shambolic.
You can go and check my tweets from every transfer window, and they'll all say the same thing. P1 is moving players out. They all say the same thing because it's the biggest problem. And I've said it time and time again. In order to move forwards, Manchester United are going to have to cut losses. There are signings that we made that never made sense to me. Paul Pogba, without bringing him, because I watched Juventus. I watch Juventus a lot. The signing alone and not signing anyone else around him never made sense. Waste of money. If you're not going to buy the right profiles to go around Paul Pogba, it's a waste of money. I'm sorry, because you're not going to get success. You're just not.
He was the Adidas guy. He was an Adidas ambassador, and that's why we signed him. And
exactly.
He came to light. That's why he was fine.
I looked at. I've said from from day one, Donny van de Beek was never going to make it in the Premier League at Manchester United, just because I watched his profile and I look at the profiles around him in the league. And he wasn't.
He was never given a chance, though, Indiana. He was never given a chance.
I don't agree with football as a charity. I think if you're good enough, you play. You make. I'm sorry, because I think Kobbie Mainoo made his way in. I think
he was never given 5 games in a row, bro. 5 games.
No, but you don't get given it. You don't get given it.
No, you do, because you know why? At the top level, you don't. Listen, you're a coach. You know, at a top level, we have to disagree to this.
You're not a coach at the top level.
3 games. It takes you 3 games to get up to the fitness level. To go up to the fitness level. And I remember the classic example for me, because as an example, was remember what Jose was doing with Fred. Remember, he was bringing him in.
Fred.
Minutes here and there, start again, take him off at half time, doing all this. Ollie came in, gave him 8 games in a row. Fred then got the confidence and the belief, okay, you know what, I've been back. There is a chance for me to go and play. But for me, Donny van der Beek wasn't the player because Ollie never wanted him. Ollie wanted Grealish.
The deal was done with Grealish, and his agent met with Ed Woodward at I can't remember which game it was. And he said there's probably a 20% chance we go and do it. But we know this happens. We know that Ollie wanted Kieran Trippier, and we know we liked Declan Rice. He definitely wanted a midfielder. Had no money to do that, but we definitely had money to go and get Ronaldo that window. But this isn't about Ollie. This happens with every manager. So it doesn't matter like what your agenda is with managers. It just happens with every manager. The profile of Donny van de Beek was never going to work. Never. Anybody who watches football for a period of time and watched him, I don't know how you put them together. It was like oil and water. Like I don't understand how people see that balance between Donny van de Beek, Bruno, Scott McTominay, and Marcus Rashford. I don't know where you get that from.
No. I personally believe,
and the pace of the Premier League on our counter attack, the physicality. I don't get it.
In a stable football club, I think Donny van de Beek, if you had the coach to play the right football, I think he would work. I still believe that he would work, but you have to have the level of football. I 100% on my life, I'll put my life on it. If Donny van de Beek was at Man City, he would work 100%.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, we don't play to his strengths, though. This is the thing, though, Lordy.
Exactly.
We didn't play to his
strengths.
And
certain players, because they misprofiled, they don't get. Yep. But I just wanted to answer this question quickly. If you guys had the opportunity to sign Neto or Elise, what do you choose? For me, neither.
Neto.
I'm sorry, the availability is the best. It's the best thing for me.
No, but I think the thing is, though, Neto had one serious injury, and I feel like that one is kind of like
two.
No, I think one was a recurrence.
Was it one
was a reoccurrence of it was what he's not been injured since, like I'm talking about. My thing is with Elise, though, he's had two big ones, and they're hamstring injuries that are very, very severe. I look at it, he's been mismanaged, okay, cool, but I think the Neto one, you know, there's hope with that situation there. So I would go with Neto for me personally, but they're both, you're right, they're both injury prone, man. But then who do you go in the market? Do you go and spend 70 million on another player that, you know, from another league? It's difficult,
no, I don't want that. I genuinely don't want that. I want Manchester United to go and find, because Manchester United, by the way, I've got breaking news for you guys. Manchester United are not going to try to challenge for no league title in the next 2 years. Because the amount of time to correct the mistakes, like Indiana said, that Manchester United have made in a decade, is going to take 2-3 years to correct those mistakes. So we're not going to be able to see the fruits unless they're miracle workers, unless Dan Ashworth is Harry Potter and he's got a magic wand. I don't think it's going to take a lot because there's not enough money available. And as we speak right now in Indiana, Manchester United are £1.1 billion in debt. Manchester United last season made over 600 million in terms of revenue. Around 400, something like that, over nearly 500 went to wages. Do you know what I mean? That's what he went. He went to wages. True. So at the end of the day, FFP is there, but because we've got the debt, the £600 million bond we own for the past 19 years is still there. And I'm not getting what Radcliffe, all the Ineos, and no journalist with the right kahunas is asking them the question. You might be a shareholder, a minority shareholder, but what are you doing about the debt? The elephant in the room, nobody's answering that.
You can still operate on debt.
You can operate, but to a certain extent,
the richest people in the world operate on debt.
No, but listen, but at the end of the day,
that's how companies
but
work.
That's not football, though. Football is slightly different, bro. Football is slightly different. Football is slightly different.
But that shouldn't affect transfers and wages as such, because look at the players. We're going to move Martial on. That's 200 grand a week. Boom, straight away, gone.
250 actually.
250 exactly. Other players are going to move on. Probably, I don't know whether he'll get rid of Scott McTominay. He seems to like him, and he's on cheap wages compared to others. But I think Casemiro probably leaves. I think that's big wages, by the way. Varane, maybe he leaves. I'm not sure where he is with injuries. And then Donny's obviously going to leave. And maybe Sancho leaves. Maybe. I don't know. If Ten Hag stays there, I can't see.
Unless they get his agent that there's the club that he wants to go to that's about to pay.
We'll have to pay them off. Don't get me wrong. They're going to want their money. I have no problem with that. Well,
that's what I'm talking about. So have Manchester United got money to pay off players?
Well, they pay off the length of the contract. We only finished paying Sanchez off last summer. Alexis Sanchez. We only finished paying him off. So that's how. This is what I'm saying. When I'm saying like they're going to have to cut losses, that's the only way out of it. Otherwise, what happens is you keep hold of these players, and before you know it, Kobbie Mainoo was 25 years old, picking up bad habits from other players. Before it's mad. You've got to move them on. You have to cut the losses. You have to do that.
Before he said, listen, I genuinely do think, big up Kobbie, his people, yeah? I genuinely think Kobbie Many needs to sit down, and I hope his dad Mike and the people around him, I think they need to sit down at Manchester United and go, where's Manchester United going? Because I genuinely do think he's good enough to play for Barcelona in midfield and Real Madrid in midfield. I believe that. I genuinely do believe that. Like, he's good enough to go and win big trophies and not waste his talent with Manchester United till Manchester United sort it out. And exactly because what Indiana just said, being dragged down, players being dragged down. Remember, we say that about Bruno Fernandes. We used to go, Bruno Fernandes is amazing. We used to go, but you know what? Wait till it drags down. And now Bruno gives the ball away every minute. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I wanted to ask that is why, to me, the judgments of Manchester United football structure is about playing movers on and about how you correct the mistakes that you make, because there is no magic wand. No football club has magic wand. But what clubs do is they mitigate the circumstances which the mistakes can be made. They quickly fix like Man City, like even Klopp. Remember Klopp would bring a player, play it on, see you later. Remember, it was about Klopp for being there when he was there, when they won that league. I think he got rid of 30-something players, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody please correct me. Pep Guardiola, 20-something players they got rid of. So at the end of the day, that's what it's going to happen to do. But that's how I'm judging them. I'm not judging them about who you sign. I'm not judging you on who you sign.
You know what? My thing is, again, like I said to you, accountability. Everybody knowing their roles, everybody knowing what they're trying to do. Like, that's the main big thing for me. And when I look at Man United right now, there hasn't been accountability for the last 10 years. So when this new football structure comes in, it's going to feel like it's going to be what the word is like. You know, when you get like the new toy, like we're going to feel like it's the new toy on the we've got a new toy, but ultimately we've also got to put these guys accountable. Like the first 2 years, we've got to see some early steps. You know, we can't judge them entirely, but we've got to see some early steps of their reign. You know, and like I said, I'm excited. It's a good time now to be excited if you're a Man United fan right now. Yeah, the Glazers are still here. Yeah, certain situations probably we could have got better, but ultimately, you know, we've got football structure now. So there really isn't any excuses. Even as fans now, like, you know, when we're here talking about sacking managers and we're talking about this and we're talking about players leaving after 2 years, we've got to be able to as well make sure that we go to them standards as well. We can't be like, oh, but we got to wait and we got to do this and no. Everybody now has to come and maintain that high standards. And if we don't, we fall behind, because now Villa are there. I know Newcastle have lost this player here, but still they'll be around. Isn't that big, man? And ultimately, everyone's spending money. It's how you spend it now. United now, we spend money. Yeah, we're going to look like, new owners. We now got to be careful. We don't get the first signing. Right, what does the database say? We can go get the next signing. Like Man City do that. Why can't we do that? Why can't we become a big club where, okay, we don't get the first choice, but now we get the second choice, which is equal as better, because then the database has shown, you know what? Cool. You know, we've got a similar profile to this player. So, yeah, man, I'm excited, but at the same time, we've got to also be very, very wary of certain things kind of going our way, because it will be tricky at the start. And it's about these guys coming in and deal with it, man. You got to deal with it, man.
I think the word that you said was accountability and a standard then to return. But I'm going to ask you, Indiana, the reason why I'm saying to you, Manchester United currently, this is what I'm saying currently, and as we stand right now, Manchester United own 364 million in outstanding transfers for players that we have. I think only Chelsea in world football has a bigger in terms of transfer money they own to clubs. So, and in terms of signing players, we already maxed out the credit card because of the COVID, because the Glazers were still wanting to get their, you know what I mean? They wanted to get their dividends. So we maxed out that. So that line of credit from that bank that we get money, that we own that 200 million. And then you got over 600 million. So altogether it comes into 1.1 billion. It counts, because if you were to get rid of the 600 million in debt, the bonds that we have, the Glazers put on the football club, Indiana, we wouldn't be that, because Manchester United then would have maybe debts of that are around 600 million or 500 million. But we make about, if things go well, we can make about the revenues we can bring. But at this moment in time, we're not doing that. So at the end of the day, it is going to count. The debt that's little with the club is still there, because you maxed out the line of credit and then you own 64 364 million. So when you're saying about signing players, yeah, you might clear the wages, but how are we gonna sign it? Are we gonna give them cash? Because City do that. Man City give cash.
How much are you allowed to take from Jim Ratcliffe's investment? I don't know though. I don't.
Well, he's gonna make a further 300 million apparently.
Okay, so let's just say for argument's sake, he uses a portion of that. He's allowed to, and then what we actually need to be doing is what I think we have been doing since around about the end of Jose, start of Oli, which is working really hard on our academy and selling players and loaning them out, and that was something that Oli was big on, and that was one of the things that he wanted to check. Whereas we're looking now from the building from the top down, right? I think he was looking more from the bottom up and working for the academy. Oli cared more about the players and the football structure, obviously, because he's a manager and a football player from the club. He knew what he knew, didn't know what he didn't know. And I'm not saying it was all him who implemented it. I was saying that was something that happened around the time. So using the academy is really important. Getting wages off the book is really important. Turning wages into incentive bonuses is really important. We started to do that as well, I think, in certain aspects. You don't win a trophy this year, you don't get that extra 50 mil. That's what happens, players. That's go and fucking earn it. I think there's a lot that's going to change. And Saeed, you said something really interesting earlier about standards, and I think the people that are coming in have got their own standards, and this is why I'm not worried. So when you look at like that, the Dan Ashworths, the guy from City, they've got their own standards and their own reputation to protect. They've now made a massive leap from where they are. Dan Ashworth has anyway, from Newcastle to Manchester United, and everyone knows the issues there. And they know what this club is in terms of a global enterprise. I think they're going to give it everything. I think that their reputations are going to be really important to them, their own standards. And that means the people that work under them are going to be held accountable to a certain level. And that's what excites me about it. That's what, when it comes to Ten Hag, I don't know whether he's going to be there or not. If I say he is, I'm guessing. If I say he's gone,
but did you not see it? They're backing him. The David honestly broke it. Said, "Yo, we're gonna back him, and he's gonna be our guy." Basically,
I think. Do you know? I think even if they work their way down, directors of football, technical directors, work for the scouting department, before they finally got to the manager, I think they're gonna say they're backing him.
They're gonna say that side. What they're gonna say? But, so
true.
The one thing I would say is whenever you come into a business, you look at what the issues are. And normally you want to employ your own guys, right? To run the business. That's normally what happens. Maybe we're lucky enough that Ten Hag is the guy they want to work with. Maybe. I'm not going to rule it out completely. And maybe we see him next season. Maybe they go, we can work with Ten Hag all next season. Who knows?
I think with Dan Ashworth, what's reported that he doesn't like making rush decisions quickly. He likes to observe something and then make the decisions afterwards. But I just want to quickly, before we're going to wrap up soon, but just to ask you guys for the next topic, the only thing that I would say is that somebody said about FFP will hit us still. Yeah, somebody says here, FFP will hit us, but it's about when we clear the wages. So we'll have more wages because if we got rid of Varane, let's say, we got rid of Anthony Martial and maybe somebody else, that will bring the wage bill down because our revenue that we make, we spend a lot more on wages than anybody else. Because Manchester United in the past decade have been in the top 2 in world football in terms of wages we pay. And for that, what have we got? We got 1 Europa League, 2 League Cups, and an FA Cup. And that's the ludicrousy of it. So Indiana said, if these guys have decent standards, that would improve Manchester United immensely because we didn't have any standards at all. People were just doing what they were doing. But I want to go on to quickly, Indiana, and ask you about Kobbie Mainoo. I don't want him getting involved with England. I want the kid to go. You coach young players. You understand the highs and lows. Regardless how composed he is, regardless how he comes across on a football pitch, he's still 18 years old. So this idea of him getting into that bubble of England in the summer, I don't want that. I want him to go on holiday. I want him to go and have a chilled out time, refreshed. Because you know that it's not football. football is not just about the physical effects. It's about the mental effects he has on you as well.
100%.
So that's why I want him to take a break, return early for the preseason, because we're going to have a tough preseason anyway. We're going to be flying around the US like we did last season.
I think I spoke on it. I tweeted it out. I keep him far away from England. I don't like the England setup anyway, especially for kids. And I don't think England protect players from the media well enough, especially if you're a Manchester United player. So I'd much rather give him 2 seasons of senior football, and if he chooses England and that's where he wants to play, and he wants that, can't take it away from him. You can't do that. But he is 18, and I watched him in the academy, really like him. So composed, holds himself so well. At him and Hansen, actually, I really rated Hansen. I really like that guy.
I did as well. Yeah. I did.
Yeah, he reminded me of a cross between like elements of David Beckham and elements of Totti when they were young. Do you know when David Beckham was in the 10, that?
Yeah.
But technique.
Exactly. Yeah. And his touch was so good. But anyway, with Kobbie, I think I really like him. The times I've heard him speak, he reminds me a lot of Saka, actually. Grounded, the way he holds himself. I think he knows. I think he's got good people around him. By the sounds of it. And
I know people who know the family.
Yeah, and I think he's. I think in terms of quality, he's ahead of a lot of players, but the maturity but in it,
still 18, man.
He's still 18, and I think you need a couple of seasons, especially at Manchester United. We're not talking about an 18-year-old coming through at Everton. Like Rooney came through at 16, and you can build on that season, and then it gets built up. You can move on. This is Manchester United, and unfortunately, I think probably about 90% of fans aren't very forgiving. So he's going to make mistakes. He has weaknesses in his game.
And I don't know if you've noticed. Listen, I don't know if you noticed, Indiana, but I was onto me and Saeed. Obviously, we went to some of the youth games. We were onto him very long time, and we stopped tweeting about him. If you remember, because we were like, shit. We saw other young players like Tahith Jong and that getting absolutely slaughtered on Twitter for days. They were trending, and we were like, shit. We can't do this to him because we don't want to. We know, and we see what happened with Garnacho last season. We saw what happened with Garnacho. Like he made
happening now with him now. People are sorry. He's playing too many games, but
honestly, Garnacho is the kid's fucking special. I'm sorry. The way he can receive a ball on either foot, like his touch, the way he dribbles, he's got a lot of flaws in his game. Very raw.
Of course.
He's very raw, but his natural ability as a forward,
be direct.
I like his directness, man.
Yeah,
but he needs to give the ball, man. He needs to stop being greedy, man. That's what's really irritating me about Garnacho. It's too much glory, man. He's got to be.
I agree, but this is where I'd go and get a. In terms of profile, I'd much prefer Neto, but in terms of me watching and being excited, I can't lie. I love Elise. And as
the point.
But the rotation. Do you understand the competition for places there?
100%.
There has to be rotation.
If you're in the Champions League, if you're in the Cups, the Manchester United is the only football club where you can't have rotation set. And the question I asked you, I personally don't think Garnacho is here for the long term in Manchester United. I think Real Madrid is his next destination. I'm telling you now, 100%. So he's just here to iron out all these things. I don't think in the next couple of years he's leaving to go to Real Madrid because that's his destiny. He's already flirted with Real Madrid. You know what I mean? So he's not here in the long term. So get somebody who wants to be here at the football. Yeah, but the other guy definitely I'm excited about, and I'm gonna be checking out doing loan watch with him. Is Dan Gore, because I really rate Dan Gore, Indiana. I don't know how much you've seen of Dan Gore, but I really rate him. I think he could.
I've not watched him. I don't know how he's doing well now at the minute for Port Vale, but I always said with that loan signing for me, I think he could have played in the Championship, for a team like Sunderland or something. But they went with 100%. Port Vale. I don't know what the situation is there at Port Vale, but
we might be monitoring one of the talented young players. You know what? We Manchester United might be monitoring one of the young talents from Port Vale don't forget, football is a funny business. They do that sometimes.
Oh.
We'll give you this loan if maybe that player that if he develops to be, that happens sometimes. I know that used to happen with Fergie. You know, Indiana will tell you, like, Fergie will send people out places somewhere. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But I do not. So, do you agree? Do you want Kobbie? I don't want him anywhere near the England squad.
Listen,
do you
man,
agree with me?
You know, listen, man. You know what it is with Northern and Indiana. I just don't want him to get the burden, man, and also, you know, mentally fatigue, man. It's not even about like the physical fatigue; it's a mental fatigue, traveling and like wrap him up, man. You know what I mean? We see players like Smith Rowe, man. You know what I mean? Like going out and about, and you know their careers, like a lot of injuries, man. You don't want that for Kobbie Mainoo. So wrap him up, stay home. But it comes down to the hype. Maybe as fans we need to start putting a message out there. We don't want him to cut. Let's go for Ghana. At least Ghana, they have AFCON and then they have little friendlies here and there. But it's not to the extreme of flipping England, isn't it? England's so many friendlies, so many competitions, so many this, that. So yeah, man, I would, for me, the stress and the burden of playing for England, yeah, and then him disappointing everyone, which I don't think he will. But then obviously you know what happens in it when you go England, and then you know what I mean, the abuse that you get and whatnot. So I just wanted to just chill out, enjoy his summer, and then fresh for United, bro. Fresh for United,
listen,
man. I'm a club man. Don't care about England.
That's it, you know, we don't care about England. I've never cared about England,
man.
Mate. I've never cared about England because England fans sing how much they hate Manchester United because of the Irish connection with United.
Oh yeah, remember the Beckham thing as well.
So for me, the England can do one in it. We don't give a damn. I'm just happy for the nation. When England do well,
I can't stick how they treat kids, man. I fucking hate it. I can't lie. I can't.
But listen, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gets that job, wish him luck in it. I wish Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I hope he absolutely kills it, and we see like 5 or 6 different patterns of play. Just to put out there, just so I can retweet it. Do you know, can I just
interim Ole though? Respect to interim Ole though. He might do a job over there, man.
Gravy,
it's when you get a permanent role. You know what I mean?
Like,
that's what it comes down to.
100%. Can I just address a comment? I seen a comment about Ahmed, and I don't know where everyone's getting this whole Ahmad's better. I'm not sure where this Garnacho Ahmed competition thing is coming from. I find it really strange.
I think it's more game time. It's more game time. I think what it is.
But then Ten Hag has no issue with playing youth players at all. None. He's just not ready. Yeah. We need to stop forcing players to have to play because we've seen them play somewhere else. Until we see a player play 5 consecutive games for Manchester United, the jury's out. And there is competition for places.
Well, for me, it's about
Anthony's his guy, and whether people like it or not, he's been dropped for Garnacho.
Right, Anthony's been dropped, man.
Exactly.
Hell, man.
Exactly. So if there's anybody who can do better, they'll be in the team right now.
Well, to me, listen, we've only got a snapshot. But when he came in against Nottingham Forest, he looked assured on the ball. And sometimes we need somebody to be assured, especially when we try to get back in the game. I would like to be giving him a chance off the bench. I think there's certain games you can, but we'll see on the next couple of games. But for me, all in all, Indiana, before we continue,
FA Cup is next Friday, isn't it?
When's the FA Cup, Wednesday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? It's Wednesday.
No.
We're playing on Wednesday.
Playing on Friday, aren't we?
If I'm not mistaken, it's a Wednesday. We'll check. I'm sure, unless I'm mistaken, I saw Wednesday.
Not Forest. Shit, yeah, it's on a Wednesday. Fuck.
Yeah, Wednesday away, yeah. So
right.
Next Wednesday.
Okay.
It's next Wednesday, is it? It's the next Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. I thought it was on a flipping on a Tuesday, man. Okay.
He's not gonna go. He's not gonna go weaker. By the way, he'll put out his first team.
Who's that?
Ten Hag, FA Cup. He's gonna put out his first
team. Are you crazy?
Yeah,
first team, both games. Hopefully we beat.
I can see it.
Fulham in the first half, and then we can rest players. But bro, we're gonna. But if we go through there, right, we're gonna miss a game, aren't we? In the next couple of weeks, I think, or somewhere like that. So, yeah.
Do you know what it is, Saeed? He's not comfortable with his first 11, which tells you when he drops a few of those players out, he's going to be in panic mode, and I think he wants to win this cup. So that tells me he's going to play his first.
No, listen, are you kidding me? He was playing. Are you Indiana? Wait a minute. Me and Saeed were at Old Trafford when he's playing first team against Reading. Charlton.
Yeah, Charlton.
What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? That's what he was doing last season. But listen, big up to everybody. Big up Indiana, man. Love and light. Make sure
Thanks
next time, man. Make sure you follow him on social media as well. Check him out, man. Indiana. Love and light, Indiana. Always a pleasure chopping it up with you.
No, thank you.
Might not agree on the points, but it's based from a good faith.
It's football, man. We're supposed to have different opinions. It's supposed to happen.
But I can always have a good faith disagreement with you. Good faith. No straw man argument like Devils comes out with his straw man arguments. But anyway, big up Saeed, and make sure you go and check out Saeed TV. 270 Straight Jacket podcast. I can't believe it. We're 30 short of 300. It's been an absolute journey. But this has been your real, raw, red podcast, people. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like. We're banned.
Like the video on the way out, man.
We're shadow banned because we shout for the Palestinian cause. We shout for the humanity, man, the genocide that's going on in it. And we also shout for the humanity of the Congolese and the Sudanese. You know what I mean? Any platform I'm going to use, I'm always going to talk about real stuff and talk about humanity of human beings globally. Because the struggle is all one, people, but stop the genocide, fuck Zionism, and free Palestine, man. That's how we head out. Love and light, people. Peace. Take care. Good night. Yo, big up.